Finding the right homeschool planner that works for both you and your kiddo can be an absolute pain, I know. But finding it can be the difference between a school year that goes really well and one where it doesn't. So today I want to talk to you about the two that we've been using this year, Google Classroom and Google Sheets. We'll talk about things that I like about each of them, what I don't, and then which one we have decided to go with. We have been using Google Sheets for the past couple of years, but this year, because I knew he was going to use a few different platforms for outside classes, I thought, let's try out Google Classroom. I knew that was one that he would be using for one of his classes, and just see if that means one less place that we have to check assignments. So we did that for a few weeks, and I was struggling with some of the flexibility of it. So we decided to try out or go back to Google Sheets for a couple of weeks, see how we like it, and then make a decision. And we have reached one. So I thought I would go through today, talk about some of the features that I was looking for and that we wanted, share with you my final answer, and then talk about some of the things that kind of pushed us over to one of them. And then I will take you over to my computer and we will go and take a quick look inside and so you can see how it works for us. One of the features that I looked for was a way to easily submit assignments for my kiddo. Now, like I said, some of his classes are through outside providers. So we didn't need it for that. But for the things that came to me, I wanted a way that he could easily submit things and that I could easily see what's been submitted and what I need to follow up on. Because both of those things are really important. So Google Sheets or Google Classroom, which one was better for that? Google Classroom makes it really easy to click on the lesson and upload the assignment and submit it. I don't have to go anywhere else to find it. As the teacher, I can open it up, see the assignment, grade it, enter my grade, and be done with it. I love that everything stays in one place so that if I need to go back to reference an assignment, maybe I forgot to enter a grade or we just want to look at it again, I can easily find them. Now, submitting them for Google Sheets is not difficult, but it's not as easy as it is for Google Classroom. For Google Sheets, I have a Google Drive for his subjects. I shared this in my digitally organizing your homeschool records video that I will leave down there as well. But I have a Google Drive, and inside for the school year, inside of that, I have the folders for each of his subjects that are at home, and he can, if it's through Google Sheets or Google Docs, he can save it from there directly to the drive, or if it's something that he's handwritten, I can have him take a picture of it and he can upload it, or it just gets put on my desk and hopefully I stay on top of it. And so while that's not difficult for him to get it into the folder, to the Google Drive folder, it's not in my face as it is on Google Classroom. So for that reason, Google Classroom won this one. Next up is one of my biggest friction points, and that is quickly editing assignments. If I need to make a change, what the assignment actually is, or a due date, I need that to be pretty quick because if it's not, then it's likely that I'm not going to take the time to edit at that moment. And if I don't edit at that moment, who knows when it's going to get done. So, which one wins for that? Sheets absolutely wins in this regard. In Google Classroom, to edit an assignment, I need to find the classroom, go to the Assignments tab, find the assignment, click to edit it, make the title change. If it's a date change, I need to open the calendar, find the correct date, hit OK. Then I need to save the assignment, and then it's done. That's fine if it's, or not fine, but okay, if that's one assignment, fine. But if I need to reschedule, let's say 3 assignments from one week to move it to the next week, I have to do that for each of them. And frankly, friends, I am not going to get it done. I'm going to put it off and put it off and put it off. For Google Sheets, I just need to open up the sheet, find the week, find the assignment, double click on it, and edit it. And if I need to do it for others, let's say I just need to reschedule, well then I could just Control-C, Control-V into the right date, and I'm done. It may seem like a small thing, and for you it may be, but for me, all of those changes that need to happen slows everything down. And if I slow things down, there's a good chance that I am not going to get it edited. And if I don't get it edited, my kiddo's probably not going to edit it. And then the schedule falls apart. The next feature I want is the ability to quickly add new assignments. And you'll notice that I said quick here and on the last one, not easy. Because it's not hard to edit assignments. But I need it to be quick. So which one wins for quickly adding assignments? Yes, Google Sheets wins again. In Google Classroom, it is not hard, but I need to open Google Classroom, find the right classroom, go to the Assignments tab, create a new one. Google Classroom does have a feature that you can reuse a recent assignment if you are doing something that repeats. But even that, when you go to open a new one and then go down to the reused one, and then you have to scroll through to find whichever one that is. And then open it, choose a new date, save it. Whereas in Google Sheets, again, if I'm reusing something, I can just Control-C, Control-V, and I'm done. If I need to add something new, I can just find the right column, type it in, and I'm done. It's hard to compare like the time saved between each of these because even in Google Classroom, it doesn't take that long to do it. But again, that friction point of all those extra steps means that I don't use it the way it needs to be used as quickly as I need to be using it. And then the longer I put it off, the more work piles up, and then I really am going to avoid it. And the last feature I really wanted this year was easy grading. Since Matthew is a sophomore, I do have to stay on top of those grades. And this year I have 2 in high school for the first time. And I really anticipated, and it's proven correct, that the extra grading of that was going to be a stumbling block for me. So, which one wins? In this one, it was a draw. Google Classroom, the benefit of Google Classroom is that once inside of a class, I set up what weight I want for different assignment types like quizzes, homework, tests, whatever, or just choose not to. It takes care of all that for me. So all I have to do is put in the points earned, because when you set up the assignment, you put in how many points it's going to be worth. So it is really, really quick for auto tallying. Once it's set up, enter the points and you're done. So that is huge because I don't have to do anything else. However, to quickly add grades, Google Sheets wins, but barely, honestly, because in Google Sheets, I have it's a separate tab in our single Google Sheet. I have to go to that tab, find the assignment, put it in, and now I have it set up so that it auto tallies. In Google Classroom, I just have to find the assignment and put in the thing, and it tallies. So both of them, it really is a draw. The only downside with Google Classroom is that if you're just doing a straight points percentage, setting it up with a formula is super easy and quick. But if you want to weight things, then it gets a little more difficult. I've not decided if I'm going to do any weighting this year. For now, I'm just listing everything, and if I want to weight it, I will later on, end of the year or whatever. I don't know yet. So this one isn't better than the other, in my opinion. It just depends if you want to spend that time setting up the formulas and such and making the list of assignments versus Google Classroom, where all of that gets done when you set up the lesson plan. So which one went out? Yeah, Google Sheets did. I'm going to talk about why, but then I'm going to take you over to my computer and show you the Google Sheets template that we have this year, which is subject-based for each week, and then also take you inside last year's, which we broke up by the day. So what were the deciding factors? Well, when you open our Google Sheets document, the first page has a dashboard. On it, I can do things like list all the links he's going to need for different, his Moodle, his Canvas, his Google Classroom, his German. All of those links can go in there. I love that. I can also have a schedule on there for the extracurriculars. Not so much a do this, do math class here, and do chemistry here, but I do list all the things that take him out of the home. So it's right there, and I change it throughout the year. I can also have a spot for ideas if he needs a brain break. We have a column set up this year for him to be able to add lab supplies that he needs for biology. All of this kind of landing page stuff that in Google Classroom, there was no easy place to corral all of this in a one-stop shop. So the dashboard is really helpful for us, and I just couldn't find a good way to have something similar over in Google Classroom. Now, number 2, the ability to have a template. So a lot of our weeks stay very similar. His German, again, same basic list of assignments each week. So the ability to have a template that I can just duplicate each week and then copy and paste anything that needs to be moved over, or quickly do quick edits on those assignments, really speeds up the process of making sure his plans are up to date each week. And I can't overstate for us how important that ability to quickly move assignments from one week to the next if we need to, how much that kind of thing just makes things so much easier for us. Is that a stumbling block for you guys? For me, it absolutely is. And it was one of those things that when I was using a paper planner, or when I had multiple kids that I was planning for all at once on a paper planner or such, I really struggled with it. And yes, I loved like my friction pens that I could just erase and rewrite it. But it was that actually doing it, especially if we had multiple assignments that needed to be rescheduled, that just, I don't know. It was just a hard thing for me to deal with. So that ability, friends, is huge for us. And the final deciding factor, I know, is just a personality thing for us. But the ability to look at a week of assignments and see a check mark next to the assignments that have been completed is really important for me. For him, the ability to mark it off is really important. In Google Classroom, when you go to the calendar, you see all the assignments, and even if you've submitted them, they stay on there. And I understand the reasoning why, especially since Google Classroom is not made for, a home. It's made for a public school classroom where you have a bunch of kids, but being able to quickly assess what still needs done at a glance, and for him to be able to mark it off, is just really important. I know that there are a lot of homeschool families who love Google Classroom, and I can absolutely see the benefit, especially if you have kiddos who you really do think will use the same curriculum, at least for some subjects. But since my high school kiddos have barely used anything the same, that's not, and Matthew's my youngest, that's not an incentive. But even if that's not true, you only have one kiddo, or you're the youngest, or whatever, I don't think you should necessarily discount Google Classroom offhand. Take a look if you think it might work for you. But for us, it was just clunkier than what I needed it to be. So, with that said, let's hop over to my computer and I will take you inside and show you what our setup looks like. So here's what a blank template looks like. I mentioned that we have a different version from last year, and I will show you that the biggest difference was that instead of having these columns by subject, I had them by the year. As a sophomore, though, I expect him to be developing the skill of learning his own pacing. So dividing it up by subject and letting him see what needs done for the week gives him that. Of course, I am helping as we go through, but that needs to become a thing that he can take on this year before he starts dual enrollment classes next year. Up here under each subject, you can see the links that he might need, as well as office hours for the classes that he meets online. At the bottom, I also keep a place for anything that he needs to know for this week, things that are coming up on the weekend, as well as things that are coming up in the next couple of weeks. This is this week. There are going to be some changes made to it, some things we've added and subtracted, but this is roughly what a week's worth of assignments looks like for him. The boxes here and here, these are my attempts right now to help him get a sense of what assignments he really needs to be doing. I also do keep time suggestions up here as well, but that visual breaking down is help as well. What else is in my sheet? I've got a year at a glance, so he can roughly see where he should be for pacing. If we get off, we get off, but at least he's got a place where he can look and see. And then let's go to the grades tab. These are obviously fake grades I put in here, but I wanted to show you how it works for me. So I've got the subject and then all the grades listed of assignments that he should be turning in. I can put in his points earned, his points possible, and then it will auto-calculate the percentage. Top, I have it set up so that it is the running total. Over here, I can put in an update from his outside classes. And then if you go back to the dashboard, let me show you. Right here, I can put in an equal sign and then click where I want the box to show up, hit enter, and then it'll show. He doesn't need to go to the grades tab. All of his grades can be seen right here. Now let me pull up and show you quickly how we broke it up last year. This is what our dashboard looked like last year. Obviously it looks a lot different this year. We've had some evolution and I combined some tabs, but it can just be as simple as this. And then here's how we had it broken down for most of the year. Dates across the top, and then each color was its own subject. He could go down. I again had a template that I duplicated for him each week. Now, if you want to see the planning systems I've used for my other kiddos, check out the videos on your screen, and I will see you over there.